Welcome to TradeTheNBA.com. This is John. This report is for November the 1st, and it's All Saints Day here in Italy, so a little bit quieter than the normal, but it's a regular day in America, post trick or treat. And of course, the market tried to give everyone a little trick and treat at the same time. The trick was to just let things come right back to the ABM yellow and then boom, bounce right back above that. And we're doing exactly as we expect with rising gold, rising Azure. We get a little bit of weakness here in the potential shakeout with it making a slightly decline move. If that continues, then we could actually have the potential of something to start turn around. But oftentimes what we'll get is back and forth like this above the ABM yellow until they get closer to a meeting point, in which case then we can play any breaks of the ABM yellow, because now we got a nice range between them, between the 55 and the 20 really is that range that is safe, at least from a bullish standpoint. Beyond that, we would get much weaker. Of course, from a DOC standpoint, we still have cyan above red, and red kind of flat. Of course, we've got new money coming in at the beginning of the week, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And steel is in a complete reset. So there you have it. It's pretty clean, coming all off that P2 pivot, the X buys right there that we saw from the dark blue candle right here, and it's performed pretty well from that. Yes, you're going to get the volatility range, and that's something we expected, though, so I don't see that as changing anytime soon, simply because, well, you know, even you had the impeachment rules vote and that, and you know, for a lot of people who don't understand it and everything, it seems dramatic and stuff, so and not to say that it isn't, but it's all political theater, in which case not much is getting done, which, as I pointed out in past times when we've had political turmoil, this is bullish for the market, because when nothing happens in Washington, business is free to do what business does, which is make money. NQ, interestingly, had been stronger and still is, relatively speaking, though it's had a weaker shakeout, but the exact same rising Azure and gold, and again, until they really kind of make that mesh point. If we see gold roll over early, that would be the first indications, I would think, and we would expect to see a corresponding spike in the DOC, cyan moving up, and so, I mean, those things will all present themselves, and it'll show up on the 5K first, and the 50, and so on. So, plenty of early warning, and likewise, with no Brit exit, boom. Now, this will start to have a little bit more of an impact, because from an S&P standpoint, the bolstered euro is certainly going to push S&P prices higher. Without question, and the real issue will be then how much more of an impact will it have on Europe's already weak economy, in which case the U.S. will outshine as well. Of course, you don't want it to go too far, because you want them as clients as well. So it's a double-edged sword, but still bullish within the euro from that orange buy signal back here. It's just was in depth where we had the spike above, and then we finally finalized the end of the overall downtrend. Well, a week or plus ago, when we made that pop back previously past the highs and complete steel reset there. We'd already had green and stuff below, moving above cyan, so it already had shifted for our minds to a more bullish stance. And oil, not going anywhere at this particular stage. It's still within the weakness, but again, you know, you get DOC spread, so just looking for a point where we're not dipping below the red line on matching lows. This looked like it had a potential to do something here, but we had no reset. Now that the reset's taken place, if we'd had these readings over here, what we're getting right now, then that would have been far more encouraging. Didn't happen at that time. And gold, making a little punch up. This is really going to be an interesting one, because I think gold is a multi-level play here. The volatility in the bitcoins and that has really created gold still as the safe haven of real investment, and it's been improving from a DOC standpoint as well as from a shakeout standpoint, but nothing spectacular to push it to new highs or anything like that. We may be seeing that, though, if the stability and growth is confirmed. The concept with the impeachment and that stuff, though, is it shakes confidence, and particularly when most people believe that the consumer is the one who's making the big moves, it can have an effect, and not to mention just the general downturn effect of an election year that people tend to forget, particularly when things are contested. If it's pretty clear that there's going to be a re-election, that's not so much, but when things are more hotly contested, certainly people hold back on investment and things like that. So from a 5K standpoint, it's a beautiful day. With the clear breaking points, I love it when they're clean like this. Makes it easy to see it from a DSD standpoint. You get this real nice spike of orange, the steel significantly lower, crossing below all of them, as well as the green below it. So that one produced nice net zero. Even within the new buy signal that was created, because the crossover for the steel above cyan happened well before. We're expecting a whole lot from that. It actually did much better than I thought it would have given that, but it was just a matter of waiting for your earliest signal right about here, where you had the orange cross above, steel below. Even though it's an orange spike, it's not something, you want to see that nice significant break point like this, where you get the huge pushover. I mean, you still going to pass this one up? No. Or even this one? Probably not, but I'm going to be a little more cautious with it. I would look for this as an initial, and then the add-in point when I'm going to get a more, significant, particularly since this was still rising shakeout, though it hadn't reached zero, which is always problematic if you don't have a push above zero line. Here we finally got to the zero, but then immediately started to make a lower shakeout, so that one at the close of that bar became very attractive at that point, and then sure enough, that's what led to boom, the collapse. Now you'll also see that I have a new level here, the 3034. And you can see right here, that was the move attempt back. And as we got close to that one, I was looking for the transition point to add to the short, and boom, took it right there. And it took a little while to develop that one, just a bit. Got a secondary signal. We have clean DOC spread right there, but this was already with the steel reset, so I was a little more suspect, except for the fact that I had the dip below the red line. Really helps, because it's like, okay, yeah, no, even if it does pop, I know I'm still going to be coming back to that low. Then as we moved forward, TV Magic, slide the chart all the way across here, so we ended up with that huge dip, the return all the way back to the 50%, which also happened to be right by the algo, which is what I like to see when we get those kind of combinations. And then it broke down. Right here, I was looking for the lows to be retested. It did it again, but then it produced the secondary dip below the low on a higher extreme histogram above the red line, so it was no longer magenta. So then I was wondering whether or not we were kind of done with the overall move, except for I didn't have any kind of steel spike above 13.5, so it was just a matter of, okay, this is going to be a short push run, and it's just a matter of waiting. Actually should have had that marked as well, because there it is right there for you, nice and clean. Let me get the right color as well. And then after that, we came back and retested the lows in higher extreme. So we ended up another dip below the red line, and then boom, made a lower low on higher extreme, and that's when the shakeout started to catch fire, and we could see rising DOC P2 pivot coming in just a little bit after that. No steel reset at this particular point, but strong enough that you ended up with, green over red, cyan at this point, red moving into a new zone. I mean, that actually happened earlier. I mean, from a long standpoint, this was expressing long pretty early, right around the 38% range was pretty easy to see that. It did make a slight little pop down before turning around pretty sharply and taking off. And once it got back above the 30-34, that became the new floor point. Stayed closed above that, and that's where we're up right now in a slight DOC spread with full reset of the steel, so not likely to be too dramatic a dip, and look for that to pop back up. So again, good ranges, keep playing it. Love it. No objections. Nice way to start the new month. As always, though, I will put up charts throughout the day if they're warranted, and we'll keep up with the excitement. Trade well.